Ethereum because a major trend is continuing to grow inside the world of Ethereum, and that is the popularity of stablecoins continuing to flock to the Ethereum chain, right? Now, stablecoins, obviously, are digital tokens tied to the value of some stable asset that is oracleized or external to the blockchain or the entire cryptocurrency industry in general, right? Now, Ethereum has become a haven for stablecoins over the last year. With over $5.6 billion worth of Tether USDT now being issued on the Ethereum chain, compared to just $1.3 billion on Bitcoin's OMNI network. There's only 800 million USDT on the Tron network. Unfortunately, well, it depends on where you sit on the topic, mate, fortunately or unfortunately, the issue being raised now, particularly in this article, is how does Ethereum's leading role in the stablecoin game, right, which is supporting on-chain assets such as Tether, USD Coin, Paxos, DAI, and more, how does this affect the long-term prospects to the underlying value of the native token of the Ethereum blockchain, ETH itself, right? How does this affect, ETH's value proposition moving forward? Now, on Monday, the Ethereum network took another step in embracing Tether. So the majority of stakeholders and investors utilizing Compound, which is one of the most popular platforms, on dApps on Ethereum, voted in support of adding Tether to their protocol, which is, again, one of the leading DeFi protocols on Ethereum, right? Which is yet another sign that stablecoins and decentralized finance, to a large degree, have become core to Ethereum and potentially their entire value proposition, right? Now, the latest information coming from Messari suggests that stablecoins have become so relevant to Ethereum that the total value of transactions taking place on Ethereum, thanks to stablecoins, is beginning to rival that of the value transfer taking place on Bitcoin itself, despite the fact that Ethereum's market cap is only a fraction of Bitcoin's. Ryan Adams, founder of Mythos Capital, described the developing use case of Ethereum as, the reality that in February 2016, Ethereum was trading at $2, right? And 4 years later, if you were to tell you that the network would host over $9 billion, and that was just one of its use cases, you would have absolutely backed the truck up. Now, personally, that's how he feels about Ethereum's value proposition today. So obviously, quite an Ethereum bull right there. So while Adam's comments suggest that Ethereum investors are embracing this stablecoin use case as bolstering the underlying value of Ethereum, the opposite sentiment is also potentially true, and it's a growing one in the Ethereum community, right? According to one of Messari's own lead analysts, this is Ryan Watkins, the dominance of Tether and other stablecoins on the network poses a long-term threat to Ethereum. This is the ETH token, right? The ETH native token of the Ethereum blockchain poses a threat to Ethereum's own value, right? Because stablecoins continue to be the primary value transfer mechanism on the network, as opposed to ETH acting as a value transfer mechanism on the network, Ethereum's monetary premium, or its position as a potential form of money, may actually harm the value of the Ethereum token itself, as its sales pitch will return to what Ryan calls the naive early branding of digital oil. Right? You don't actually need, you only need to hold a minimal amount of Ethereum or its value will trend towards stability, right? And the fact remains that, this falls into, when we kind of consider this problem or this concept in and of itself, we kind of have to look at, in this particular case, the critics who say that cryptocurrency is too volatile to be adopted are somewhat correct. And that's why this applies, right? If stablecoins are driving the dominant value transfer mechanism on the Ethereum network, why would you transfer value in something that is volatile, i.e. Ethereum, when everybody else, and it makes more sense to transfer value in a stable format in the form of USDT, right? Or Pi, or DAI, or Paxos, or whatever is being held on the network, right? So again, this is a case of Ethereum potentially not being adopted if it continues down this route by its own high level of volatility, right? By introducing assets that have similar features, such as decentralization, rapid and low-cost global settlement, but also happen to be stable in their fiat-denominated values, this may hold more potential for mass adoptions than their volatile and speculative-driven counterparts here in the case of stablecoins on Ethereum, right? I've seen this in the realm of trading, right? It has become more convenient and attractive to me to trade altcoins against USDT than BTC. right? I've noticed that the USDT books have become thicker, and the knowledge that my value gained or lost is going to be stable is extremely helpful in building algorithmic strategies rather than trading against BTC, because now I have to run an entire secondary loop for my auto hedging strategy. And, you know, of course, the majority of the market is already doing this, right? You don't trade Bitcoin against XRP or Ethereum as quote pairs. That would be kind of silly. You trade it against USD. So the majority of the market is already trading the main traded asset, Bitcoin, against something that is stable, which is USD, right? Whether in terms for spot trading or in synthetic cases for derivatives or futures contracts, right? Now, the defining characteristic in my mind, however, and what separates Bitcoin is its unconfiscatable aspect and the security of the underlying Bitcoin network. Not to mention its monetary policy and economics, also highlighted as a better form of money for the long term for adoption as hard currency, right? We just have to be aware, you know, this is kind of a PSA. It will take time and effort and adoption to smooth Bitcoin's price out. It needs to see a massive increase in demand, which means a massive increase of adoption, right? It's something interesting for us to contemplate and consider while we're cruising toward the moon on rocket fuel, right? But I guess just to state all this, right, you don't have to feel like a crypto heretic if you find yourself utilizing USDT more for trading purposes or for value transfer purposes, right? You have to brand yourself a crypto heretic. And you can also, in my opinion, ignore those, because at different points in time, those who are successful will adopt the tool that gets the job done and makes the most sense in the moment, right? Meanwhile, your underlying ethics and philosophy and drive will continue to improve Bitcoin and its promotion as adoption for the world as sound money. So, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Is stablecoins just a fad on the Ethereum blockchain, or is Ethereum strongly trending toward a stablecoin based blockchain, right? Essentially, right? Now, is this good, and is this good or bad for the value of the underlying ETH native token, right? Is this a bullish case? Do you agree with the bullish case, or do you agree with the bearish case, right? So let me know if you guys have any questions about that. Leave them in the comment section down below.